Billy Carson finally did this in his ongoing saga in the fallout of the West Huff situation. If you guys didn't know, Billy Carson just put out a video. It's called Facing Trauma, How Past Experiences Shape Our Present Reactions. Now, he actually did this with one of my favorite people online, one of my favorite mental health people, if you didn't know, Dr. Amen. Dr. Amen was recently on Carl Lentz's podcast. Pretty cool stuff. And what he did here, I think, is the first step. Now, there's a lot of other stuff in this, but I want to say this. I think this might be the first step to start turning this thing around. Okay, so let me play you this bit real quick. This is him addressing the fallout of the West Huff debate situation.
The full one came out. Then he took it down. We contacted his wife. She was very upset because his wife and my wife are really good friends, like almost best friends.
So this is Mark, who hosted the debate, who put it out after the fact. Wes wanted it to come out. Mark wanted it to come out. Billy didn't want to come out. It came out. He said he was under the weather. And he does something here I think it's pretty helpful. Check this out.
Born on the same day. And she was very upset. He took it down, but then he gave it to somebody else to release. And that person gave it to somebody else and and then it made mainstream. It was like all viral. It was everywhere. And so then I got really upset, and I made that video, and my whole team was counting on me to make a good response video. My wife and my kid were counting on me to make a good response video, and I failed. I didn't make a good video.
Did they see it before it went out?
It was live.
This is the first time that I've seen Billy do two things. The first thing is this is the first time I've seen Billy take a degree of ownership and responsibility. He hasn't done this. And if I'm honest with you, he doesn't do this in the majority of this interview either. Tells us the big backstory. He was sick. He was set up. He did that. His friend betrayed him. And I understand how all those things could be real from his perspective. But I feel like this is the first time that Billy shows some humility, that Billy shows a bit of responsibility. Some people would say this isn't humility, this is humiliation. Well, you know what? Sometimes being humbled is a byproduct of being humiliated. And the second thing he does here is that I think he humanizes himself. He humanizes himself in that I messed up in how I reacted to this. I messed up in how I reacted to this. I shouldn't have reacted to this in the way I did on that live stream where he did the response. And to his credit, he took the live stream down. Now, there was also responses from his wife that were really bad and her friend. There was also all the lawsuits. There's been a lot of things here. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Now, I have some caveats to that. We're not letting him off the hook just yet. I got some caveats to that. We all acknowledge that he made this mess. But I think this is the first step in the right direction. So let's let him kind of unpack this.
Oh, it was live. Yeah. So
Dr. Amen said, "Ooh, listen."
It was live.
Oh,
it was live. Yeah. So in hindsight, I would have done a pre-recorded, and had it looked at. But I went live on YouTube, and and I was pretty upset.
When you're just coming out of being sick, not thinking at your best, and highly charged, generally your brain's not going to make the best forward-thinking decision.
Yeah.
Because you're in a fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And you're in a fight mode because you feel betrayed.
Yeah. I was really feeling attacked.
So notice the word feel comes up repeatedly in this, right? And the tough part is when we're led by our feelings, we could often overlook what our actions are doing to other people's feelings. I think Billy legitimately felt these things. But Billy didn't take into account how any of this made the other people involved feel. Unfortunately, he didn't calculate how this would make Anton feel. He didn't calculate how this would make Mark feel. He didn't calculate how this would make Wes feel. So your feelings, this is an important lesson for many of us. Your feelings can be real, but you still have a distorted view of the situation that you're in. And oftentimes, your feelings aren't always indicators of the most accurate representation of a situation. So he felt a certain way, but your feelings don't trump how your actions made other people feel. This is where I think he's still drifting and he's still not getting it. He's not understanding that your feelings are not without consequence on other people. So I think he legitimately felt betrayed. I think from his vantage point, his kids played with Mark's kids and his wife was friends with Mark, and it was this community they had, and that's been severed. And so he has to then also grieve the death of that relationship and the tension that's created. All of that is real to him. I don't want to diminish that. It's all real to him. But your feelings aren't always accurate. Now, the interesting part is Dr. Amen, from my understanding, is also a Christian. So it's interesting to see the first 15 minutes of this or 13 minutes of this and how he's navigating this conversation and the things he's omitting from this conversation. And the technical aspects that he thinks he can consent after he's been on camera consenting. That's not how any of this works. Now, I understand your feelings are real. And so I'm glad that he's starting to take a degree of ownership finally. I think this is a step in the right direction. Let's let him kind of flesh this out a bit.
So, we took the video down, but by then, obviously, everybody already copied it and made clips out of it and edited it in ways that made it look even worse than what it really was, to make it sound like I was being more general to the world, not just to the people that had attacked me.
Well, to be fair, you assumed that the people who had attacked you were all brokies and lames and unintelligent people who were in a cult. So even if it wasn't to the general world, you still said some wild things about every Christian that was standing with Wes Huff, because you were unequivocally wrong about most of your statements. That doesn't, right? So this is a good lesson for all of us in terms of social and social human dynamics. You can feel certain things and still be wrong.
And the fact that the people that were using this content and putting it out really had skewed a lot of the truth and made some statements I don't personally feel were accurate. And so, I'm trying to find what is, first of all, I know that one way to handle this would have been just to wait and take some time. But when you're triggered that deep and that hard, and you're feeling that attacked to where you now have to, we hired another full-time bodyguard, another armed guard for protection. And pressure on, every time your kid now leaves the house, you got to wonder, is he going to be okay?
Now, I've said this when this all started. I'll say this again. I'll say this multiple times. Anyone who's issuing threats, anyone that's harassing this dude, anyone that's showing up to his place of business, anyone that's leaving comments on his family's Instagram, anyone that's doing any of this sort of things, especially in the name of Jesus, you are a bozo and a weirdo. Leave this family alone. Don't do that to this dude. Don't do that to this dude. As wrong as he has been historically in some of these things, don't do that. That is unbefitting of how any Christian should act. Now, these are his claims. I don't know if they're true. I'm assuming by sheer volume, when something goes this viral, that there probably is in the, say 10 million people that kept up with this story. There's probably some wackos out there that are crazy. And those people, to me, aren't indications of the broader Christian community. But just a sheer volume and sheer scale, you gonna have some crazies out there, right? It's like, it's like going to your favorite sports team. Generally, everyone's cool. And then that one weirdo, get a couple too many drinks in him, and he want to fight everybody. Dog, chill out. Sit down. Be humble. Behave. Right? So how much of that is an indication of the Christian YouTube community? How much of that is just sheer volume and how viral this thing went?
Is somebody going to do something? They were talking about trying to come to our house and try to get through our gate, and then But one of the
Yeah,
guys,
all of that is wrong.
the main guy lives in the gate, so he can let anyone in the gate if they call him first. So we had to go file reports and police reports, and we had to contact the FBI. And then some people showed up at our office, which is a public address, obviously, but what if I was there, you know?
Did they show up threatening?
They didn't leave any threats, but they did show up, yeah.
Yeah, I've had 3 death threats.
Oh, yeah.
I have experience with the FBI.
You know, yeah, it's real.
The Newport Beach Police Department, and it's no fun.
No, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
And I'm trying to find, like, what in my past could be linked to this trauma that not only, of course, responding to it, getting frustrated with the situation, but I feel maybe it's even deeper than that.
What else should I know?
Well, it's putting a lot of pressure on my relationship. You know, I mean, I know Elizabeth is, she's a tiger and she's, you know, a dragon too. So, but at the same time, it's a lot, it wears on her as well. It's a lot of pressure trying to navigate this situation and the pressure and all the negative comments. We have people working the comments, but you're still going to see some of them. And a lot of the negativity and that, you know, that about the company and everything else. So, and, you know, she's the director of operations. So that puts a lot of pressure on her shoulders.
Has it impacted your business?
Yeah, it has.
Of course it's impacted his business.
Yeah. So tell me now, when you think about that situation, what are you thinking and what are you feeling?
Right now, I thought I was getting to the point where I was feeling a little bit more clear because it's starting to really die down. Although some new podcasts had sparked, you know, popped up recently, some big podcasts, and this guy's telling these stories on there that just are not accurate. But so
this is where, you know, he's telling these stories that are not accurate. Everyone who's seen the debate knows that he was accurate. You made multiple claims about the scriptures. You conceded those claims, and they were accurate. Now, that like you have to live with that. And there's other claims that we've talked about. You saying that whenever the word God is in the original Hebrew, that it usually means gods and it's plural. Very easy stuff to debunk. So this is the frustrating part. As much as I want Billy to grow from this, and I really want Billy to come to Jesus. How amazing would that be? I don't think that doesn't seem to be happening because, in my opinion, this probably should have been something that happened behind the scenes. And this is a huge lesson in, like, you can be right in your emotions and wrong in your perspective. You could be right in your feelings about a situation and wrong in your perception of a situation. And I don't even say he's quote unquote right. Like, to him, he feels what he feels. He feels betrayed, feels rage, feels all these things. And he's slowly starting to take ownership. But the best thing he should have done in this situation is just, like, act like it didn't happen. He's in the weeds of the comment section. Why? This was one of my concerns with Alex O'Connor. Why are you in the weeds of the comment section? Why do you care what people think about your credentials? This is not wise internet behavior as a public figure. The best thing Billy can do right now, in my opinion, is either one, run it back with Wes Huff in a formal, moderated situation, or two, just be quiet. Go do the work privately. Go sit with Dr. Amen, get a therapist, work through this stuff privately. The fact that this is content is not a good look. The fact that this is content is a step in the right direction from just a humanization standpoint that I genuinely feel bad for this dude. But at the same time, I don't, because we remember years of you saying stuff that actually impacted people negatively, actually had a negative impact on people's faith. And you were backed into a corner, you were checked on it. Stop reading the comments. Stop deleting all the comments. Write out. Go do the work and you'll sort this out. And in time, people will forget about this. And if you really have value to offer like you claim you do, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But you don't have a case of defamation. You don't have a case of resenting consent. Don't be out here suing people. Don't be out here threatening people. Don't be out here trying to roast people. saying this person lives with their mom and they're like calling people brokies, and it's not a good look. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Did this help him? Like those of you guys that watched the full, I watched most of this. Did this help him? Did this help him or did this harm him? Did this help him or did this harm him? Right? And by the way, you're a public figure. I'm a public. There are going to be times where we fall short. Like I fall short as a Christian who's not in the stream of work that he's in. And I just need to sometimes just let it rock. Let it rock out. People will forget, right or wrong. People will forget. And so it's frustrating that they just, he's still dragging this thing out. There's going to be a certain contingency of his audience that is going to rock out with him no matter what. And this is the going after the opposers instead of equipping the advocates. Equip the advocates and forget about the opposers. Forget rehashing this over and over. It doesn't serve you well. So that's my thoughts on this, man. I really hope Billy stops with this. Because again, this is the Barbra Streisand effect. This is the Barbra Streisand effect. I'm not the first one to react to this. I'm not the first Christian creator to react to this. We're keeping this entire story relevant. Let it die. Let it die down. I don't think Wes is going to do any more podcasts that's going to rehash this thing all over again. Shout out to FF in the chat. He said he could have literally just said, I was wrong and need to study more. He could have said that. Could have said that and been done. Could have said that and been done with it. But instead, he, decided to do this thing. And Dr. Amen is, I think, and this is the thing, like, don't manipulate therapy. That's another thing. People be manipulating therapy. Like, if you only get out of therapy what you put in. So if you're omitting a bunch of details, once Dr. Amen gets the full story, he may perceive you different, and that may harm that relationship. If you're new here, if you're not new here, hit that subscribe button. And here's some more information about the Bless God Summit. I have a massive update for you. I'm sure by this point, you've heard about the Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th here in beautiful Carlsbad, California. But we've heard your requests. We've conceded to your demand. There are virtual tickets that are now available for the Bless God Summit, so you can access it from anywhere in the world, as well as access to the replays. And for those of you guys that are looking for something extra, we're also offering a virtual ticket and an exclusive Bless God Summit merch bundle. There's some amazing art and some exclusive pieces done by our friend Josh Nadeau from Sword and Pencil that you have to check out. So join us online for the virtual event and experience some sessions from my favorite podcasters, pastors, and performers. We have a stacked lineup. I'm talking about Preston Perry, Dr. Sean McDowell, Inspiring Philosophy. What do you mean? Lila Rose, Alan Parr, and his wife Jen Parr. We even have Nate Sala from Wise Disciple, Gavin Ortland, David Wood, Avery from God Logic Apologetics. And on the pastoral side, we have my friend Daniel Golding, Pastor Ed Newton from CBC in San Antonio, and my personal pastor from Rhythm Church, Pastor Jeff Moores and his wife Erin Moores. You won't want to miss out from amazing performances from America's Got Talent winner Dustin Savella, Billboard charting hip-hop artist John Keith, and Miles Minnick. We're still finalizing a few more speakers. So head over to blessgod.shop, get your virtual ticket now, and you can get yourself a bundle with some of the exclusive merch as well. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.